everybody, it's Dr. Carmen Bryant. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is Overcoming Narcissist Abuse, and I'm your host, Dr. Carmen Bryant. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for following me. Before I get started, once again, I will be talking about the conference as the days lead up to the conference. I am having a conference in Dallas, Texas. I will be at the Hilton Dallas Lincoln Center. And there is registration. If you look underneath my video, if you go and look on my Facebook page, on Instagram, you will find the link to go and register for the conference. Don't wait till the last minute because right now I haven't determined the cutoff date, but I have to cut off at least a week and a half, 2 weeks prior to the conference. But if you wait till the last minute, it makes it a little more complicated. Number one, for those that want to do VIP, to make sure that I have enough room or enough limos to escort you to the restaurant that we will be dining at after the conference. And then on top of that, those that are now online, I can understand that, but in person, when you come, I also have to get a head count, number one, for space purposes and also for food, because we will be serving, you will be served a Greek buffet. So it will be a working lunch. It is from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. So you can tune in on Zoom or in person at lunch from 12 to 1. There are 2 speakers during the lunch period. So I will be speaking from 8 a.m. to 12, and we're going to take a break, 10-minute break every hour so that you guys don't fall asleep. And you ain't going to fall asleep at this conference, so I'm not really worried about it. And then at 12:30, a friend of mine, a good friend of mine, her name is Miss Bridget Griffin, who is a domestic violence advocate for the YWCA here in Seattle and King County. She's a domestic violence legal advocate who operates in the courtrooms to assist those that are victims and recovering from, and victims and I'm going to say conquerors. That's a good word. Victims and survivors of domestic violence that are still having to go through the courtroom. And she's going to be talking to you guys about a lot of things you hear us talk about and questions that you ask, even people who have contacted me who want me to come and serve as an expert witness in the court to show the judge and the lawyers that this individual is a narcissist. And I always say the same thing, that is not a good idea. That's not something that I do. And she's going to talk about that because you don't go into the courtroom talking about or trying to convince the judge or the lawyers that this is a narcissist. They're not listening to you. And so you're going to really mess up your case. Number 2, she's going to talk about parental alienation. She's also going to talk about what to do, what not to do in the court, and how to look for a lawyer, the questions to ask lawyers, how to look for lawyers. But she's got some really great information. And then, of course, my big brother, Marcus Monroe, he's coming in, and he is one of his platforms is the law of mentality. The law of mentality. He's going to be discussing with this group that is on the rise now and I don't know the exact verbiage or the description. A lot of you guys do. He's going to talk about it, but it's this new group that's on the rise, and some of it is even underground, where narcissists are teaching narcissists. And narcissists are teaching men, and their target is a lot of men that have low self-esteem or looking for mentorship or looking to be built up, but they're building them up the wrong way with the wrong perceptions, and they're building them up to target women and to it's targeting women, and it's to bring them under submission, to invalidate them, to basically it's a control thing, to control them, to, and they're teaching them information of power and control. And it sounds really great until you pay attention to what's being said and what's being done, and to build your self-esteem by tearing down someone else's or to try to control someone, I think is very inappropriate. But he's going to come in, he's going to talk to you guys about this new group and the details about what to look for. So ladies, and even men, if you guys come out there, I haven't had any men register yet, but that's okay. because I'm gonna make sure that I take care of the ladies, because my niche is usually women, and that is not usually, but my niche is women. To empower women, to bring you out of that cave that you've been in, and to educate you. I myself will be talking about some of the root problems that have occurred, why you end up in. You look at some of your friends, or you look at family, and you're like, wow, how is it that they've never been in an abusive relationship? How is it that they usually have really good relationships, things just don't work? Or how is it that their families have good relationships and they get along, and why am I the way that I am? Well, it all comes from your root. It comes from your the parental roles that were in your those guardians, those parental roles that were in your life, that started you off in your developmental stages, that taught you how to view the world. There was a certain type of parenting style that they had, and then you developed a certain type of attachment style. Even with parents, like my parents never, weren't abusive. They weren't this, they weren't that. A lot of you can say that this is something that I don't understand it, because my parents were good parents, but they still had a particular parenting style. And sometimes even good parents may have like an anxious parenting style. They may have a guilt parenting style, or they want so well for you. They become very overprotective. But we're going to talk about that at the conference, and later on after Marcus Monroe, from 2 to 4, I will be talking about manipulation. A lot of times you hear about the somatic, the cerebral. You hear the somatic, the cerebral, the covert, the overt, but we really don't talk about the the manipulation. And we talk about the manipulation, but we don't talk about it in detail, where we dissect it. I like to dissect things so that you guys will understand. So to dissect, manipulation and manipulation styles and how they manipulate. Then, of course, you're going to have my big sister, Kathy Gibson. And my big sister, I really admire her. I've been knowing her for almost 15 years. I've been with her for almost 15 years. And, of course, this is the daughter of Helen Sadler, Destiny Helper, my spiritual mother, my leader, my pastor, is our pastor, and to see how she has been trained and how she has been brought up to think, what I really love about her is, number one, because we're some plus size women, and it's not the fact that, as she says it all the time, I really love the fact that she's a confident girl. She's a confident girl. She's a confident big girl. She's a confident plus size woman, and for the world to look down on, women that are plus size, or make them feel anything less than. And one of the things that she always says, and I agree with her, is that, I want to lose weight because of health, want to make sure that I stay healthy. And I agree, and when you deal with people that have been wounded and hurt and have eating disorders, or they have problems, and I'm going to talk about that in another video, is about the eating disorders and the weight gain or the weight loss, but I'm going to talk about that. And just to hear her talk about, especially talking to the young adults, she talks about confidence and having respect for yourself and who you are, and the beauty of who you are. And a lot of you have lost the beauty of who you are because you were accustomed to hearing someone dog you out, talk so negatively about you. You didn't know you had so many flaws until you got with this narcissist. And do know that every narcissist is psychologically, now when you say psychologically, or when we say psychologically encompasses behavior, thoughts, emotions, but for the sake of conversation, we're going to break it down. All narcissists are psychologically and emotionally abusive, and that psychological and emotional abuse, and then some are physically abusive. Not all are physically abusive, but some are physically abusive. And so they affect not only your cognition, the way that you think, psychologically, they also affect you emotionally. Not only do they, the abuse that you go through physically or psychologically, that abuse also affects you physiologically. And that's why I wanted to go off into this topic, where I addressed it before in another video, and it's about the brain fog. So I went to research. I said, let me go from, the narcissist. That's why we always talk about no contact, because if you have no contact and you get away from this person, your mind starts clearing up. But if you live in a life of stress all the time, you live in a life of stress, your stress levels are always high, your cortisol your levels are high. So you got this this chunky stomach, you got health issues, you got muscle problems, you got sleep issues, and then you wonder why you have brain fog. And brain fog, you can't think clearly. It's like your focus is off, sleep problems, weight gain. You can't think straight. You don't know how to make decisions for yourself anymore. It's like you used to make decisions and you didn't always have to ask someone to validate the decisions you're making. Now, all of a sudden, every decision that you make, you are paranoid that it might be the wrong decision because someone has made you feel like every decision that you make is a wrong decision. And so here you have this brain fog. And I was researching, I was kind of looking up, some medical issues or things that can also be a part of brain fog. And I got this from foreducationandresearch.org. And I was talking about some of the causes of brain fog. But I want you to apply this to yourself as a person that has been in a narcissistic or abusive relationship or a toxic relationship. And so brain fog. So here are some risk factors. Chronic fatigue syndrome. Some of you guys have chronic fatigue syndrome. Wonder why? Being with a narcissist. Now, I want you guys to apply this to being in a relationship with a narcissist. Hormonal imbalances. Some of you guys have hormonal imbalances, being in a relationship with a narcissist. Thyroid gland insufficiency or hyperactivity. Fibromyalgia. Sleep pattern changes. Migraines. Poor diet. Some of us have poor diets. We do. And some people who have those poor diets use food as comfort, so your metabolism is all off. Cancer. Knew a lady that was a client of mine. She had breast cancer. Nowhere in her family did anyone ever have breast cancer. And the oncologist that was working with her, who is also a research oncologist, told her, off the record, I'm just going to let you know the level of stress that you live in. He didn't know that she was in a relationship with a narcissist, but the levels of stress that you operate in, the level of stress that you are under, being in, the home, I believe has caused, and he said it, I believe has caused cancer, and your body is equipped to be able to fight cancer, and your immune system is totally compromised because of the high levels of stress that you live under on a constant basis, where you should not have gotten breast cancer, and she had breast cancer. Reduced oxygenation during sleep. Those of you with sleep apnea, gained weight, got sleep apnea, wonder why. Chronic inflammation, head injury. Some of them have really injured you and have given you traumatic brain injury or some type of brain injury. Multiple sclerosis, vertigo, substance abuse. Some of you are smokers, drinkers, do drugs, recreational drugs. That is a coping mechanism, poor coping mechanism. Poor nutrition and dehydration. Some of the treatments that they talk about with brain fog is medicine, diet, supplements, home remedies. Here's got home remedies, therapy, mental health therapy, how to prevent. So it talks about how to prevent. Let's look. So let me get to this point that I wanted to talk about. So brain fog, it also talked about some of these physical symptoms that you can have with brain fog. Chronic tiredness, eye disorders, gastrointestinal dysfunction. I talked about that on another video where you got stomach issues. You're so stressed that you have ulcers and stomach issues and gastrointestinal problems. Metabolism decreases. So your metabolism is sluggish and slow. That's why you're gaining weight. You don't even know why. You got headaches. Don't even know why you have headaches. Some mental symptoms are irritable behavior, sleep disorders, forgetfulness, focus and concentration issues, inexistence of motivation and freshness of ideas. Some of you guys gotten hopeless. You can't even think of anything, innovative. There are also some risk factors. Chronic fatigue syndrome, hormonal imbalances, testosterone insufficiency, perimenopause phase, thyroid gland deficiency, and I said that a few minutes ago, insufficiency and hyperactivity, fibromyalgia, sleep patterns, depression, stress and anxiety, migraines, diet problems, dietary issues, cancer, reduction of oxygenation during sleep, chronic inflammation, head injury, multiple sclerosis, vertigo, substance abuse, pure nutrition, hydration, and goes on and on and on and on. And some of the things that they talked about for medicine treatment, iron supplement, corticosteroid, because brain fog has an inflammatory basis, when brain fog has an inflammatory basis. It talks about the medication that helps relieve fatigue and cognitive symptoms, prescription drugs, a particular one in particular, I can't pronounce the name of it, but it's one that they use for Alzheimer's disease. Then they also talk about diet supplements. They also talk about home remedies, which is getting good sleep, getting exercise, take care of your diet, reduce your stress, avoiding alcohol and caffeine, eating more fruits and vegetables, meditate. So this is what I want to say. This is what I wanted to say in reference to that. Okay, some physical consequences: weight gain, pain, poor skin health, mental loss of focus, memory incompetency, personality changes, reduced productivity, libido, and satisfaction decrease. Okay, so this is what I wanted to say in reference to brain fog. You know, when you live a life in a home with a person that constantly keeps your stress levels high, it's like you constantly have chronic anxiety, general anxiety. They diagnose you with general anxiety disorders, or you just have chronic anxiety. You're always in fight, flight, or freeze. You're always walking on eggshells, you know, especially when they come around. It feels like this feeling in the gut of your stomach, like the excitement, but it's not a good excitement. You know, when you get excited and like you get that excitement in your stomach, but it's like it's a constant excitement, but it's uncomfortable excitement. And then you can feel it in your chest. It's like you lose your breath a little bit and you have to, you know, as breathing exercise to go along with it. But it's almost like you can feel it, and it's almost like you have to calm yourself down. You know, this is a bad way to live in a relationship with a narcissist. And some of you guys have been living like this for years. And the thing about it is it's gotten to a point where, you know, you have I'm not going to say severe memory loss issues, but you start to have some short-term memory loss. You start to have some, you know, I can't think of, let me think. I don't have brain fog, but just let me think of some examples, because I didn't think of any examples before I came on camera. But let's think about this for a minute. You know, remember when they're gaslighting you, you can't remember where you put the keys, but you put the keys in the same place all the time. So now now you're really starting to have some issues with memory. You know, now you're starting to wonder, like, do I have issues with memory? I can't remember where I put one thing to another. You know, I was getting ready to do something. I can't remember what I was going to do. It's like I'm just distracted all the time. You know, you're distracted because you're thinking about what life you could have and what life you really have, and you're staring at them and they're constantly saying something, and your mind is always in la la land. It's like you're daydreaming all the time. Or, you know, you make a decision, but then you're paranoid about the decision that you make. You know, I can't focus. You know, my focus is off. I try to read something, I can't even read. I'm at work and I can't even focus on work. Brain fog. And that's why no contact is so important. For those of you that can't do a total no contact because of the fact that you have children, so there's a limited type of contact that you have to have with that individual, you have to be wise. Even with the gray rocking method, you know, to pull your emotions out of something and make it all business. What's it like to have a conversation with someone that you're not emotionally connected with? I know for some of you say that's easier said than done, but now you have to start training your mind. I'm going to handle them like I would handle the average person that I'm doing a business transaction with. And the more you practice it, the more it gets easier to do. And those of you that do have an ability to go no contact, you go no contact. And you notice that the further and longer that you spend away from this person in a no contact mode, you know, it's like the more your mind starts clearing up. I can think clearly. It's almost like your vision clears up. Like you go outside one day and everything is in 3D. I remember when that happened for me. I was sitting in the car. It's like everything was just bright. I don't know if it was fall. Let me think. It was fall. And it was during the fall, and I was sitting behind, you know, my wheel driving back home, and I looked out the window, and it's like everything was so crisp and HD, and everything was so clear, and the birds were singing, and but it's like my eyes cleared up. I could think clearly again. I didn't have to worry about every decision that I made, and someone was, you know, because they're jealous over you. And, you know, they're going to make you feel like you're crazy, and you're not. You know, they're going to project on you about how they think, and you don't. So you're not constantly confused. So you start making decisions, and you start to realize, like, I'm kind of smart. You know, I'm kind of smart. I don't eat the paper all the time. I don't eat books. You know, I'm kind of smart. You know, then you start realizing, you know what? I am kind of smart. People like, we've always known you were smart. But then you're announcing it. I'm kind of smart. I'm kind of smart. Sorry about that, you guys. I'm kind of smart, y'all. I'm kind of smart. Oh my gosh, I can't even turn off the ringer. Okay, my apologies. But then you start realizing how smart you really are, that you're not dumb. And now the decisions that you're making, they make sense to you again because you don't have someone constantly in your ear. That is not just abusive. That's the kind of things they do to people that are prisoners of war. Constantly harassing them, constantly, speaking to them, constantly trying to change the way that they're thinking. So they're brainwashed. That's exactly what a narcissist does. And you're brainwashed. Then you start feeling normal again. You start thinking like, oh my gosh, the brain fog has lifted. Brain fog. So hopefully this has helped you guys. I just want to go back and revisit the brain fog and some of the psychological, physiological, problems that you can run into when you're in, because a lot of the stuff that what I was just mentioning is a lot of stuff that happens to your body as when you're in a relationship with this narcissist. And it happens slowly and over time, not suddenly, but slowly over time. And then you wonder why you have brain fog. How did that result? That right there resulted in the brain fog. So I would advise you guys to get to a good therapist. And like I tell you guys all the time, I partner with, hold on. Do I partner? They pay me a commission. BetterHelp.com/Dr. Carmen, and find you a counselor to address those things. Those are particular conversations you need to be having. Stop going in there and be like, do you understand narcissist abuse? Because if you don't, I don't want to talk to you. Look for a trauma professional. Look for someone that understands PTSD and complex PTSD. Ask them if they understand about brain fog. They can recommend, going to see a medical provider to get you or a nutritionist. You go see a nutritionist and work with a nutritionist. Go speak to a naturopathic doctor that can help you with vitamin and supplements, to help you out and get you on vitamins and supplements and changing your eating habits and getting you to exercise, doing something that you're not accustomed to doing anymore, doing something uncomfortable for the sake of getting your mental health back in order. But no contact is the way to go. Most people want to reach out and they want to know, how can you do marriage counseling so that I need to learn how to manage the narcissist. I need to know how to manage my emotions while in the relationship. I'm not that therapist to do that for you. I'm not that coach to do that for you. Because I'm telling you now, it's going to get worse. There's nothing I can do to help you sustain yourself in there. It's going to get worse. And if you're on medication, you're going to be on more. If you're sick now, you're going to get sicker. I'm just going to tell you like it is. But it's good to those of you that have gotten out and you feel yourself, starting to normalize, you can think normal again, go get yourself a nutritionist, go find yourself a naturopathic doctor, go talk to a medical doctor, find out what you can do to help yourself. Exercise and vitamin B12 and vitamin C and vitamin K, talks about all that, changing your eating habits, to clear your mind back up so you can feel normal again. Go to BetterHelp.com/Dr. Carmen. And then look for a therapist that's going to address that and help you with that. So hopefully you've enjoyed the video. Thank you so much. Subscribe. I'm Dr. Carmen Bryant, Overcoming Narcissist Abuse. Hit the subscribe button, hit all, so you can tell whenever I upload or whenever I come on live. This Sunday, I wanted to come and talk to you guys about brain damage. Is it possible to have brain damage after being in a relationship with a narcissist? Yes is the answer, but we're going to talk about it on Sunday. So make sure you tune in on Sunday. I'm on Clubhouse, Facebook, Instagram, and where else am I at? I think that's where I'm at. So you guys make sure you come join me. Go check out my spiritual mom's, my mom's videos. It is Helen Sadler, your destiny helper. Make sure you subscribe and share our videos so other people, don't be selfish, go help other people. And make sure you look underneath the link, register for the conference. I need you guys there. I want to touch you. I want to hug you. I want to see your faces. I want to see who's behind the pictures on YouTube, in a safe place. And I have an awesome team that's going to be there to cater to you and make you feel special like you are. So I want to see you guys out there July 31st. If you come to the front door without a ticket, it is a prepaid event. So you have to go online and you have to register and pay your fee. Because if you come and I'm just here to see her and I just want to come in and I just want to pay it, it's not going to happen, because I'm not going to, those people that have taken their time to pay and come in there, I'm not going to interrupt their time to come and talk to you guys, if you have the time to register, because that's not fair to the other people that have spent their money to come in. And so I'm not going to interrupt the training in order to go speak to people when you can be right there with me and I can just talk to you and touch you and joke with you while I'm there. And then for those of you that are doing VIP, we get to go out and eat. And so thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure you go and register, y'all. Register. And thank you so much. You guys go and be great.